Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to the finest Dawn of War workshop casts this side of East Yorkshire. And today we've got a 1 vs 1 on Antigua Bay. Playing on the other side as the Sisters of Battle, we've got LEB. Playing on the other side as the Chaos Space Marines, we have got Rave. Rave will be opening up with a Cultist Squad, a Squad Cap increase, a Plasma Generator, and I do believe, yes, we're going to go for a Chaos Temple down over here. Whereas LEB is going to go for a couple of missionaries, a Adeptosaurus Convent, a Pristine Sanctuary, as well as a Plasma Generator. So we did do a workshop video sometime last week or the week before, something like that. I thought it was quite useful, you know, it's a good example of being able to improve your gameplay and whatnot. And yeah, we're going to be going through this game. I've done a quick watch all the way through it to see what happens. So I've got a few ideas of what to say, got this entire game, and you know, we're just going to be nice. You know, this isn't about catching people out and saying, oh, these players are rubbish. Oh, this build all is not very good. It's all about learning, baby. That's what we do on the channel. We're trying to build up the community here and making sure everyone's doing fine. So straight off the bat, we saw a squad cap increase from Rave here. Standard building kind of thing. You don't tend to do that, mainly because you only really go for your squad cap increases when you require it. I mean, what at the moment with two infantry units, you're nowhere near getting your cap at the moment, and that does cost a fair bit of money on the blue and on the green, if I'm not mistaken. So yeah, you generally, for your build orders, what you want to do is you want to build up one production building, one plasma generator of some description, and a couple of capping units to go about and cap some stuff on the go. Now, sometimes you'll forego your plasma generators and go a little bit more aggressive. Like, standard-wise, for the Sisters of Battle, if you are going to go for your Celestine opening with your Pristine Sanctuary on the go, you would kind of forego your plasma generator just so you can basically build... Yeah, you build this building up, you get out two Seraphins, then you destroy it once those guys are being built up, and then you start building up your listing post, which is an absolute priority. At the moment, we are seeing in this Ecclesiarchal Servitor not enough money being able to build stuff up, so that's why plasma generator, or sorry, that's why listing posts are a little bit behind on the go. I do believe that may be also the... Oh, sorry, we were looking at a completely wrong economy there. But yeah, pretty much the same thing. Yeah, that wasn't going to be a 100 by the time I mentioned that. But yeah, same kind of deal with the Chaos Space Marines. They've gone for 2 plasma generators, and they haven't quite had the time to build up all their bits and bobs. That's okay. We've got double Seraphins capturing the critical location in the middle. Now, one thing that the Seraphins are mainly priority focused on is decapping enemy stuff, preventing them from capping stuff by shooting down their capping units, as well as focusing on the building units. And the Chaos Space Marines, they do struggle with keeping their building units alive, considering that in the early game, they do tend to dance around a little bit, which lose their health, and so they're ideal for sniping out with these Seraphins. I see double Seraphins coming in over here. Chaos Space Marines are going to sit in this very heavy cover. And I mean, just straight off the bat, I mean, Chaos Space Marines, what, 28 and 34 compared to 20 and 26. So the Chaos Space Marines are going to win a straight up 1 vs 1 ranged engagement against Seraphins, and doubly so when they are in heavy cover. In fair play, if you've got 2 squad Seraphins going up against a squad of Chaos Space Marines, they'll probably win. But I mean, these guys are packed to the nines. They've got all the models humanly possible. So standing in that heavy cover, as well as also just beating them in close combat as well. So even if these ladies decide to smack them up in the face, it ain't going to help them all that much. Generally, we see these ladies go up. I mean, look, there's all this decapping potential over in the Chaos Space Marines base. And also, if these guys are inside there as well, they can maybe do a little bit of building bashing for the plasma generators. They won't exactly do much damage against listing posts, especially if they're upgraded. But you can always do some damage against plasma generators because they don't fight back, which is quite useful. I'm going to see a heavy bottle turret down here, although you don't really need it because you are winning this engagement. Sure, you might have lost your cultists, but I mean, yeah, you're just going to be able to sit here all day quite prettily. And these ladies, they do cost 5 green money to replace, which is going to set the economy for the Sister Battle a little bit further backwards. Although, in saying that, they've got a fair bit saved up because they wouldn't normally have that plasma generator on the go at the moment. Yeah, 1 squad wipe there, and these ladies are going to, one by one, LEB, so I'm reading that backwards almost. She's going to have to bring back Seraphins back home to defend her listing posts and whatnot. Although, I mean, she's managed to build up most of them. I mean, forgotten on this one on the side. That is one of my main problems that I have when I'm playing in any kind of RTS, really, is forgetting to make sure that my economy is nice and too sweet. Got to absolutely make sure that your listing posts are built on every single point humanly possible. Seraphins are now coming out to see if they can do what they're meant to do. Well, the cultists aren't going to be able to stand up against these ladies in close combat or in range combat. And this is exactly what they are meant to be doing from the get-go. And the cultist will be shot down. Not even attempting to retreat, as the cultist, or should I say the Chaos Space Marines, are attempting to capture the relic over here. So they're thinking, right, okay, well, sisters, you could have this one. We'll have this one. And they're also going to pop down another heavy bolter turret down here, which is not an idea. You don't really want to spend too much money on these heavy bolter turrets. As I'll probably mention in every single one of these workshops, it's quite a common thing you'd see a lot of low-level players do. And again, low level is not like an insult or anything. This is just the observation here. But yeah, so you could just build a listing post and upgrade it, and that will act as a turret. And when you saw this heavy bolter turret being built up, these guys were winning already, so you didn't really need that there. But hey ho, I mean, the sisters have now got a Cannoness, and one upgrade that they could really go for, that which would help her remarkably in the DPS department, is the Inferno pistol. Have you already got your Inferno pistol? Let's have a quick ganders. No, not at the moment. But if you get your Inferno pistol on the Cannoness, also the upgrade can then extend to the Seraphins over here. When you get into tier 2, you get your Veteran and Superior out. A couple of Inferno pistols on there, and that will definitely do a lot of damage to these Chaos Space Marines. And I'm going to fast forward just a smidgen, just because we want action and stuff, and visually it's quite interesting to watch more than people standing around. Yeah, you'll see a lot of times in low MMR games, people will just have their army sat around. And generally, you'll notice, unlike a lot of the other videos on the channel, you never ever see these high-tier players keeping armies or units standing around. There's always something for them to do. So these guys could be pushing down over on this side. I mean, they might have been able to, not at the moment, been able to take them on as the listing post and the Inferno turret has been built up. But maybe if they moved a little bit earlier, this whole area might have not been as defensively built up. They are now going to go over here. And the Seraphins are now being sandwiched in between two Chaos Space Marine units. And once again, the Chaos Space Marines are making good use of that heavy cover. So Battle Sisters coming on over. In this situation, you could detach the Cannoness, send her into close combat, and let these ladies fire at a distance. Angelic Visage being activated on the Seraphins, which will increase their overall DPS. The Sea Post over here has been upgraded. And the one thing that the Angelic Visage does is that it does increase the DPS of anyone nearby. As you can see, this Physical Servitor is a little bit of a buff. Well, it doesn't do any damage, so kind of a wasted buff on that. But the Seraphins and the Sisters managing to keep the Chaos Space Marines back with the help of that listing post. Really nice to see that if you have a battle going on, if you're able to fight underneath your listing post with all the shooting bits on it, it will help you in the defensive run. Sisters now also going for some flamers as well as some heavy bolters, which, I mean, I like the idea of going for like a singular flamer if you want to break the morale of the opponent, because one flame will do a lot of damage to the vast majority of tier 1 infantry, break them relatively quickly. Look at that one flamer, and it's already breaking them down to very low morale. Once morale's been broken, they basically do very little damage, so that is something. Although seeing a flamer and a heavy bolter in the same squad, so the heavy bolter's got longer range than your standard flamers, so if you're going for like a standard firefight against another ranged unit composition, if it's heavy bolter and heavy bolter action, the flamer won't be within range to do anything. And if you're moving closer with your flamers, then heavy bolters aren't going to be firing because they can't fire on the move, I don't think. But if you've got one squad with only heavy bolters and one squad with only flamers, you can kind of do a bit of a wombo combo of the two, if that makes any sense at all. The Chaos Space Marines going for quadruple heavy bolters. We've also seen a heavy weapons increase on these ladies. And are you in tier 2 now? You are in tier 2 now, so we've got that manufacturer on the go. Spending a lot of money on reinforcing the infantry. So if you are going to spend a lot of money on upgrading infantry, then you don't really need to get your manufactorum. You can just buy more infantry. And I mean, that would make sense, because if you put more money into them, then you tend to want to go for a more infantry-heavy composition. Whereas if the Chaos Space Marines, say for example, I mean, they are going for their infantry upgrades as well, but if they went just flat, no upgrades whatsoever, they could then go for their machine pit, and then maybe something else. But against this, the battle, going for a vehicle-heavy composition is usually not advisable, considering that these sisters 9 times out of 10 always go for a lot of Celestians when they hit tier 2, and tier 2 for the sister battle is amazing for their anti-vehicle stuff. Let's look at that. They've just got 4 anti-vehicle stuff off the bat. Plenty of plasma generators on the right-hand side, which, also the left-hand side, if I can get my lefts and rights mixed up. Or not mixed up, sorry. Yeah, I mean, it's you would probably on a map like this, probably see them nice and snug on the backside, just because it's a lot more defensible. You've got 2 listing posts that you can upgrade for defensive reasons. Also means that they're going to push through these two as well. So these are a little bit vulnerable. Sisters now moving on the left-hand side, although going back home, we want to see it. There we go, going to be a little bit more aggressive. Got Sisters coming on the left side and on the right side as well as being spotted by lightning fighter on a map like this with lots of negative space where units can't occupy stuff. Aircraft, always a good idea on maps like this. They could just sit in these kinds of areas and be a bit of a nuisance. Got some Raptors coming in fact double Raptors. Not sure about this if you've seen them go flamers, but then again, if you've got lots of heavy bolters on the back lines, they can open fire, cause constant damage, and then the Raptors can prevent all this special weaponry from being activated. So very nice. All seeing the Purge the Weak ability, which will allow them to do a lot more damage. And I do believe that the Raptors will definitely outclass these Sisters in close combat here. Sisters on the right side, on the left hand side. Good lord, I've never got my lefts and rights mixed up. But today apparently is the day. Sisters do a mighty fine job in close combat, so they might actually want to engage these guys in close combat, but no, they're just going to run on in. The problem is that they've now gone for a lot of anti-vehicle stuff, so their damage output towards infantry is going to be massively reduced. Sometimes you'll see Sisters of Battle players go for a lot of Celestians, but then not upgrade them to anti-vehicle stuff until they see enemies go for a lot of vehicles. But yeah, just lots of infantry, plenty of heavy bolters, and they're going to absolutely murder the Battle Sisters here, as well as the Cannoneers. So huge losses going on there. Lightning fighters will come in, but they are aircraft armor, so heavy small arms fire will do a lot of damage to them over time. And we'll look at that. The heavy bolters are activated, and you can see how quickly lightning fighter goes down. Aircraft isn't really good at holding the line, not like your standard kind of tank will. And an improved mechanized production efficiency. I mean, fair enough, you did have your squad cap going on because your lightning fighters were alive, but now they're not, so you can kind of cancel that. Battle Sisters trying to fend off the Raptors, and the Raptors are kind of focusing on the Pristine Sanctuary, which, so generally when you're invading a base, if you want to do a maximum amount of damage, going for the tech buildings probably isn't usually the best idea, purely because there's no, I can't think of any kind of tech that any faction in Soulstorm, or unification, oh, by the way, this is in Soulstorm if you weren't familiar, or if you didn't realise by the thumbnail or the video title. But yeah, so there's no research in Soulstorm, which I would think, yeah, need to definitely take down the research building quick as we can. Now, otherwise they might get that and win. Generally, you would, I mean, there was a plasma generator right here that they could smash up. There's 2 listing posts that have not been upgraded, and we are seeing this listing post currently being upgraded at the moment. If all the Raptors decided to smash this up first and foremost, they would then be able to deny this little turret over here. And also this manufactor, which was building something up. If the Raptors started fighting it straight away, that would have prevented the Immolator from coming out. The Immolator is quite a beastly thing. There's no anti-vehicle stuff at the moment for the Chaos Space Marines. So yeah, the Immolator will just be able to sit there and set everything on fire. Also the Raptors using their Purge the Weak ability, which only increases the damage that they output, but also the damage that they have done to them. Not the best time to activate that. Battle Sisters now over here, focusing down one Raptor squad at a time. We are seeing Raves, horses kind of split up here. And once that manufactorum's down and the Pristine Sanctuary is down, you've also taken out listing posts. Well, you may as well sit on your laurels and go back up. You've done some damage, and the longer you stay, the more damage that will be done to you. Immolator has been brought down to half health, but now that the regular Battle Sisters are going to come over, can't get their heavy weapons at the moment, but that's fine. They have got their war gear, armor research, and all the other bits and bobs. Servitor can come over and repair that stuff. Let's have a look at the economies. 86 and 40 compared to 104 and 20, so a fairly strong economy for the Chaos Space Marines. You are in tier 2 now, but you've not gone for any tier 2 stuff. But you've got your listing. Well, there's a relic over here, and there's a relic over here that's still been captured by the Sisters of Battle. So once you're over here and you've done all your damage, you can just kind of like leave a token force out here just to prevent these guys from pushing out too far forward. But for the remainder of your forces, like say for example the Raptors, once they were losing their battle, they could have jumped out, maybe started decapping this spot over here, maybe also the critical location, maybe also the relic, because then you can then start building up your own listing posts and, you know, gain that kind of economic power, or advantage, should I say. We'll fast forward a little bit now, because I do believe that there's a bit of a lull in action going on over here. But the Sisters, yeah, I mean, at the moment, probably sitting tight is probably what they want to do. They could send one little squad over here and see what's going on. Maybe they could sally forth and rally around this relic and keep it safe for the moment. Second manufactor, oh no, the first one died, but you're building it round the front for some reason, not sure why. Celestians focusing down on the listing post. Again, these ladies going for a mass of anti-vehicle stuff, which again is probably not what you want when your enemy is going for exclusively infantry stuff. But Predator is out now for the Chaos Space Marines, so that is something. Chaos Space Marines unable to really get a hold of these guys. Now, one thing that I've not seen either of these players do is go for a fragmentation grenade, which is available for both the Chaos Space Marines as well as the Battle Sisters, which is just a really useful thing. You throw it down, instant damage, AoE. There's a good chunk of damage on all the models. And one point to make about kind of AoE damage is getting the squad wipe. So squad wipe is a really important thing to get when you want to gain map control. Not necessarily because, I mean, reinforcing, let's say for example 4 of these models die, it'll cost the same amount to reinforce them as it would to get 4 models from just getting a fresh squad. But if you get a squad wipe, then they can't really defend a certain area of land until they rebuild that entire squad. Which, oh dear, just one battle sister getting a few shots in before deciding to go back up. A fragmentation grenade, or should I say a phosphorus grenade for the battle sisters. You throw them in, does damage over time, or just a general burst of damage to a whole bunch of people. And if you've got a squad with lots of low health models, then gaining that squad wipe is a lot easier than going at it from just these ladies all being full health and stuff. Got a remade immolator. Again, this relic now also being rebuilt by LEB here. And the relic over here not being rebuilt by the Chaos Space Marines. So that is a thing. Predator is on the field though, and as long as the Celestians are on the field, it's going to be a bit of a pain. But what you can do with that Chaos Predator now is you can engage these guys with, wherever the sister battle go, or maybe you could be aggressive and go down this side. And once you know where the Celestians are, you can then take your Predator and go down over on this side and start smashing up all this stuff, as there is no anti-vehicle stuff on this side. Do you know if this place is being taken? No, I can't really tell where the buildings are. I know that in some RTSs, when you've discovered a building, it stays on the fog of war.
Bow to me.
Got a Chaos Lord coming out. And have you gone for the plasma? Yeah, you've gone for your plasma pistol upgrade, which is something that you sometimes see other players forget to do. I mean, have you gone for? I mean, have you got any of your? No, you've not gone for any of your veteran superiors, which is a big fur part. As if you go for your pristine sanctuary, you've got your Inferno pistols, get your veteran out. And, I mean, that's just an additional piece of DPS that could do a lot of damage against other infantry models, or heavy infantry in this case. It's also really useful as well if you're playing as a faction that maybe struggles against heavy infantry in Tier 2, or maybe just need a little bit of a push because they've gone for heavy infantry-focused composition, then you can't go wrong. Plasma pistols, or your faction's equivalent, and a leader is always good. I think the only faction that doesn't really have that are the Necrons, because the Necrons don't really have any leaders that they can equip to their units. And the Orcs, I don't think that the Orcs have any big damagey things, apart from the Power Claw that the Orc Knobs can have. Raptors are now going to start assaulting over here, but oh, didn't even notice that. Completely forgot to mention that he's gone for an Exist, which is exactly what you want against this massive infantry. And the sister got really strong artillery. I mean, the spread on that, the morale being more or less instantly broken. After each individual piece of damage, there's a little bit of morale damage. So if they manage to get a really tight spread, or a tight cluster of rockets over one singular unit, more or less instantly break the morale, these guys need to go back home ASAP, because they ain't going to be getting any kills. But do quite like this. The Raptors are over here destructing the entire Sisters army. That does leave these guys the opportunity to come forward, and really nice use of sending the Chaos Predator in first to absorb the damage from the listing post, to then do all that damage there. Now, have you gone for? Yeah, you've gone for infiltrated Chaos Space Marines, which is always good. After all, it then forces your opponent to constantly have some infiltration detection, which assists of some quite nice ones in the form of their missionaries. Tend to want to see missionaries inside a. No, poor phrasing there, Mr. Landshot. Don't say missionaries inside a sister squad, but you know what I mean. Got some Sister Repentia, which is an interesting combination. We would not normally see the Sisters Repentia being combined with the Exorcists, purely because if these guys get into close combat with those guys, they'll both get blown up by the Exorcist. The Chaos Predator been sent into its own death. Not sure what that was about. Maybe attempting to hunker down and break down some more buildings. But you had all this stuff here if you wanted to. I mean, you almost took down a plasma generator. Also, the Chaos Space Marines. I mean, we've got quite a fair stack of economy over here. How's your economy doing on this side? Sisters, not quite as much, so they've been spending their money a little bit better. And, yeah, they should start... they're attacking the ground over here, really causing an issue for that Chaos Lord. Got engagement on this side. And I quite like how the Immolator attempted to do a little bit of a spinny thing on these guys, but I don't think it did much damage. No, not really. Immolator over here now upgraded with a multi-melter. And look at this, it's a relic free for the taking. LEB, you can just walk over and sniff it if you want to. That's okay. Heavy bolter turret. And you, again, like, look at the positioning of this heavy bolter turret. Wasn't really doing much at any point of the game, really. In the early game, it wasn't winning any battles. And in the late game, where you could just basically get instantly deleted by all this late game stuff, wasn't providing much use on that side. We're now seeing some Khorne Berserkers and a Demon Prince, Obliterator Squad, and personal teleporters. So I can see why that Rave is doing this. He's got a load of money saved up, so may as well start queuing up all the big stuff. But generally, you don't want to be queuing up huge, costing, or how would one say, very expensive stuff all in a row, because you can spend it on lots of other stuff being built at one given time. And horrors. That's a thing. If you know that the Exorcists are on the battlefield, or just any artillery, from the perspective of the Chaos Space Marines, you get your horrors in here, and they're quite special in the sense that they're one of the few jump in, or should I say deep striking troops that come out with a full squad of lads and lasses in their ranks, whereas generally most other units do not have that luxury. But yeah, I know you get a squad of Raptors, you maybe scout out, find out where these guys are, then drop a couple of horror squads. By the time that these guys are able to retreat, they're brown-breaded. But the Demon Prince is here, and I assume he'll be... I mean, are you going to make the Demon Prince happen and then charge him in? We're going to charge the Chaos Lord in, wait for him to get low health, and then turn him into a Demon Prince. Interesting as well that we're going for Khorne Berserkers. Now, will you win against... No, you will not win toe-to-toe against a Sisters of Repentance. You are a tier 2? Question mark? I'm not super familiar with Chaos Space Marines. Oh, I should have said the Khorne Berserkers, because you never really see them in a game. But tier 2 melee squad versus tier 3 melee squad, it won't win. Quite often you will see a Chaos Space Marine player go for the Obliterator and the Possessed Marine Wombo combo, which is quite a strong combination, as the Possessed Marines, once you get their Flaming Mouths upgrades, whatever you call it, they wreck face. They break morale quite easily, although Sisters of Repentance do have a lot of morale, of 850 when they get their Mistress involved. Next is I'm just constantly firing over on this side. Not sure what the Khorne Berserkers were planning to do there. They've taken a fair bit of damage from that bombardment. As the Exorcists move a little bit far forward. And is this a good place for them to be? I'm getting a decap on by this Celestian squad. So they might have lost this relic over here, but they are going to regain this relic on this side. And a lot of posturing at the moment. Sometimes you will also see this in pro games when, I should say, a high-level pro game, whatever you want to call those types of games, the ones that you normally see on the channel. When people have got lots of armies and lots of bits and bobs and stuff, they kind of know that if they go for a big, massive engagement, then whoever wins that engagement kind of wins the game. So sometimes you will see this kind of standoff happening later on, but with a lot more poking and prodding, like say for example, we've got a critical location over here, maybe send a low-level squad over here, and that also frees up squad cap as well. So, I mean, what, have we got any low-level stuff? We've got some sister battle. I suppose, yeah, I mean, if you don't want these ladies hanging around and you want to get some more Celestians out, just send these ladies over and start decapping and recapping some critical locations. You have the money? No, you don't. Actually, you're fully squad capped. And you don't have the money to really replace any kind of fallen ladies, so probably not the idea to go here. Shall fast forward a little bit more, just to see what goes on. Oh, and we'll watch from the Chaos Space Marines perspective, so we can see these infiltrated Chaos dudes. Obliterators have now been built up to full. And at this point, so if you have got your if you've got your obliterators out a little bit early, and they are now fully fledged, you can just pop them back inside a demon pit, and then they can basically get a free teleport. It's quite cool. Of course, Khorne Berserkers, they're on capping duty, which is not what they really are focusing on. And we've also got a Tainted Auspex. Although I don't think the Sisters of Battle have any infiltrated people apart from the assassins. I don't think they've got any assassins at the moment. At least I don't think they have. No, they have not. Was it up here on this side, I do believe. Double Predators with lots of las cannons on them. Celestians are doing a good job at focusing on the target that they need to. But no infiltration detection over on this side. Sister of Pentia charging in. But they are going to be killed pretty quickly by the sheer amount of heavy bolters on those Chaos Space Marines. And one mistake that LEB has made here is that she's kind of... So, her whole composition works well when it's together. You've got the Repentia for the front line to tie up any range units. You've got the Celestians take on vehicles. You've got the Sisters of Battle on the back lines for their flamers and stuff. You've got the Fire Dudes for, again, more morale damage. And you've got the Exists for doing a mass amount of damage to high clusters of infantry. When they're all together, it all works perfectly fine. But start separating them and the individual aspects of that unit composition. It's a really hard thing to say. Starts falling apart. Chaos Space Marines, on the other hand, they've just gone for firepower, baby. So, even if they start splitting up, all parts of their composition kind of do the same thing. And the Sisters don't really have much of a they don't really have many different types of targets. And they've got the Predators to take on the vehicles. There's no more vehicles left for them to really take over. So now all of the Chaos Space Marine composition can just focus on whatever it really fancies. Also got some Raptors in there just for good measure. We didn't really need them. And even though they've got morale being broken left, right and centre, that's fine because they've got the Obliterators on the back lines which have got no morale breaking potential. And they've also got quite heavy armour as well. Raptors now going to jump around the backside of the Exists. Start slapping on the backside. They're probably a little bit premature. But still, really good at use of the Exists. So they're now going to walk down this narrow corridor and do stuff like that. We also, I completely forgot to mention that the Canoness used a blinding Guardian thingamajiggy ability with Faith, which would have been amazing because it basically reduces the accuracy of the opponents, makes them blind essentially. But no, didn't do much in the grand scheme of things, as the Sisters then kind of just charged into melee combat. Which I don't know if that blinding stuff affects melee combat, but either way, with the Exists, you don't want to engage in close combat, as you'll just start blasting up your own troops. So what is the alternative here? In this situation, you're in the back kind of foot. You've lost most of your army here. Chaos could push in if they really wanted to. What would the Sisters go for? And I suppose one thing that these guys could go for now that you've got your Holy Reliquary on the go. I mean, have you gone for your... No, you've not gone for a Confessor. The Confessor's got an amazing smite ability, which just basically deletes whole units at a time. Whereas the Chaos Space Marines... I suppose you've got your Chaos Sorcerer. I don't know whether you've gone for your Chains of Torment, but that'd be ideal. Or if you've got, say, for example, a Sister Squad like this, chain them down, and no funny jokes from you, young men and or women, and then start murdering them. That'd be a thing. You also corrupt the ground as well for damage over time. These Khorne Berserkers, this is the most odd use for Khorne Berserkers I've ever seen. They want to be smashing stuff in close combat, taking skulls for the skull throne, but they're just enamoured by this relic. And have we seen the Demon Prince? We have not seen the Demon Prince yet, which is very interesting. Though I suppose, like I say, you kind of want the Chaos Lord to be a bit low on health before you activate him. Oh, here comes the Living Saint. And she is going to take on the Chaos Predator. Exists blowing this area up. So even if you can't see the infiltrated Chaos Space Marines, you can still damage them. Possessed Marines charging on in. And it's nice to finally see them. Healing Hands on the Khorne Berserkers, on the Sister Battle on this side. Predator firing down, and we've got that Demon Prince now finally being done to try and combat the Living Saint. And Living Saint is very strong. I mean, all relic units are pretty strong in this game, with maybe the exception of the Avatar Arcane, so that's more of a supporting kind of relic unit, although it still can hold its own in a close combat engagement when properly supported. But I don't think that the Living Saint is being properly supported here. After all the firepower on this side was being tied up by the Khorne Berserkers. All the firepower over here isn't really enough to take on all this stuff. Demon Prince now going to slap around the Exorcists, because that is their main priority. Or should I say that's the main state of damage incoming from the Sisters of Battle. Taking that on, it should be a high target for them. Oh, we get a nice 1v1. Demon Prince versus Living Saint. And even though the Demon Prince is not a relic unit, going toe-to-toe against Living Saint like no man's business. It's a good amount of damage done in. Also, the Obliterator is doing a fair bit of damage in that as well. And yeah, this is difficult times ahead. Do you have money to reinforce? No, you don't. Got plenty of green money. And your manufactor's over here. Look at the Berserker's like, no, we don't want to fight. We have got our shiny. And that is all we want and need. And that, boys and girls, is pretty much it. Long story short, these guys come down here and start smashing everything up. So I don't think I really need to do much of a recap or a summary of this game, as I think I've kind of explained everything step by step as we've gone through it. But like I say, it's a workshop, so be nice in the comments if you guys have anything to suggest. Oh, another free tip: if you want to send a message to an opponent, make sure it's not on ally message, because otherwise they won't be able to read it. But yeah, so if any of you guys in the comments have any kinds of words of encouragement or words of, you know, maybe there's other piece of advice that I may have overlooked and stuff that I want to give to these players and other players who are watching these kinds of videos, want to improve, by all means do so. So thank you very much for sending this game into the Discord. And if you want to support the channel, have a look at the old Patreon. £1 a month gets you one extra game a week. And there is also a Discord where Discord things happen. Links in the description as always. I've been Mr. Landshark. Pleasure as always, never short. And I'll see you in a bit. Peace.